Okay, it is Tuesday, March the 9th. And you were like Megan times 1,000 today. On fire. You looked good. Everything was like, you know, put together. But man, we started talking about the again, Meghan and Harry and their interview with Oprah. I'm over this topic, but of course now we have to get the British reaction because it just aired the day before on British television. And we started with the Piers Morgan reaction, stomping off his morning program for being criticized for how he's treated Meghan Markle publicly, which has been absolutely deplorable. He's a complete um, twat waddle or whatever the hell, some terrible British term. Anyway, you then take the idea that instead of talking about what the British reaction was to the interview, you somehow turned that into you've been asked to defend the monarchy, which wasn't the question. So in order to not do that because it made you uncomfortable to have to defend the monarchy, you give a soliloquy about being an ancestor of Revolutionary War fighters, military folks who fought for this country, apparently, I guess you're trying to say. And that as a kid, you pretended you were George Washington crossing the Delaware. And then somehow turned it into an ad for people to go see Mount Vernon. Like you're a travel log. I don't know. I want to show I'm American. I think the monarchy is stupid. That's not your fucking question. And, great job being an analyst as the only conservative voice on mainstream TV, Meghan McCain, co-host of The View. What the fuck are you talking about? Even Whoopi was like, okay, at the end of it, because that had nothing to do with anything. And please go enjoy Mount Vernon. That sounds lovely. But it wasn't the question. Anyway, so that was a giant fail on your part, and you took such glee in it. You were so proud of yourself that, if two women named Meghan Markle and Oprah Winfrey can finish the job that George Washington started, you're all for it. Oh, we won that war. We're separate from England now. And then, and I guess the Seussian topic came up. I don't know. I guess somebody, because you like to talk about the pitch, right, to what's going to be a hot topic. Somebody decided it was important to tell the actual truth, that it was not a political. There was no political motivated decision about not publishing 6 of Dr. Seuss's books. It was a decision made by Dr. Seuss Enterprises, which is run by the family, which protects his legacy, and they just decided for his legacy that it was not a good idea to continue to publish works with racist illustrations in them. And you walk down your slippery slope of cancel culture and you're banning stuff and you don't like censorship, which is exactly the whole Fox News talking point. That's bullshit. That has nothing to do with this. And you bring in Potato Head and Pepe Le Pew into the whole thing. The makers of Potato Head decided that it was, in their best interest to not gender assign the 2 potatoes that they're selling. Let kids make a Mr. and a Mr. or a Mrs. and a Mrs. or a non-binary potato, because that would be more inclusive of what those children's families might look like. It seems inclusionary. It's okay. Nobody's saying, you can't have Mr. Potato Head anymore. You can still have a Mr. Potato Head. They're just not prescribing it on anyone, is the idea. See? And Pepe Le Pew was, you know, talk about Me Too and Time's Up. Like he was a sexual predator. So you say, we're taking things too far when we're talking about cartoons, but that taking down a Confederate statue where people are offended by it, that's one thing, but we shouldn't be applying the same kind of idea to cartoons. First of all, it's not up to you to decide what people are offended by. And second, absolutely, we should be taking this stuff out of imagery that is taught to children. I don't see where you wouldn't understand that ramification. Do how much sexist stuff do you want to be feeding to your daughter Liberty, right? You want her to get books about following the patriarchy and being a dutiful wife, subservient to her man. Would that be acceptable for you? Is that okay? I don't think it is, because you said you want her to be a root-tootin' independent gal. So maybe think about that when you're giving your stupid opinion that you and your husband Ben cooked up while watching Tucker Carlson last night. So then Joy says that the whole Seussian thing that and you said wait, you said you something about wanting to get into not wanting to get into the politics of it, but you think it's a lot more nuanced. I don't know where you find the nuance in this whole thing. It's clearly the Seuss organization made a decision. The GOP decided, and all of the pundits decided, we're going to make a big deal out of this, because then we don't have to talk about the fact that the federal GOP representatives are voting against COVID relief. And that's what Joy's point was, that it's just it's another one of these let's have a culture war instead of actually talking about what the Republicans are not doing to help American people. And so now this is when we finally get to talk about the bill. You jump on your little high horse about that bill was just a bunch of pork and only 9% went to American families. Okay, and you wanted it to just be COVID relief, and that was only 9% of it. There is more to COVID relief than sending out checks to people. Yeah, that's a part of it. By the way, the GOP didn't even want to do that much. So, but there's money in that bill for vaccine rollout, for localities to be able to afford the process, to give money to small businesses that are struggling, and restaurants. You want to be able to go out to eat again. Well, you want restaurants to be alive, unless of course you only want to go to Flavortown. So there's a lot more in that bill that wasn't pork. It was actual relief intended to help people who have been suffering and from the pandemic. So that's a disingenuous talking point. And again, another one of, like, other Republicans are just going to scream, oh, 9%, 9%, without even talking about what the rest of that makes up. So that was a bullshit argument. And then when someone tries to interject, because you've now interjected on someone else's time to get in your whole thing about the COVID relief bill, you just shut down and start saying over and over again, over it today, over it today, over it today, like you're a toddler going, la, 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 I can't hear you, I can't hear you. And just repeated it over and over again until we went to commercial. What a pathetic display. You call yourself an analyst? That's not even functional adult behavior. You should be absolutely horrified, embarrassed, mortified for yourself, because that was just an unbelievable display of why you're terrible at this job and why you shouldn't be on TV. You're a selfish little brat who can't even make an argument without screaming. Fuck you.